Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Alicia Krupp from Ecole Chocolat, and today we're welcoming Jan Schubert from Original Beans in Amsterdam and Glenn Knowles from Gem Chocolates in Vancouver, BC. And today we're going to be talking about white chocolate, and it's actually very serendipitous that we planned our white chocolate hangout for today because if you're up on your food holidays, today is in fact National White Chocolate Day. So this is the perfect thing for you to be doing today, is watching our hangout. And white chocolate is a little bit of an anomaly in the chocolate family because it's made from different ingredients than a dark or a milk chocolate. But just as with dark and milk chocolate, a fine white chocolate has its own fabulous flavors, and it's a versatile canvas for chocolatiers to work with. And we're so lucky today that we have Jan and Glenn here to share expertise and experiences in white chocolate. So why don't we get to our discussion? So Jan, we're going to start with you, and could you just tell us a bit about the basics for anyone watching who may not know what exactly white chocolate is and how it's different from a dark or a milk chocolate?
Yeah, hi everyone. And the biggest difference from white chocolate to milk or dark chocolate is that you only use the cacao butter. So normally for dark or milk chocolate, you have both components, the cacao powder and the cacao butter, or you use the cacao mass. But in white chocolate, you only use the fat of the cacao beans. It's about half of the cacao bean content is cacao fat, and it's known as cacao butter. And in white chocolate, you mix this with any kind of sugar and milk powder, and often to get a flavor, you put in vanilla or vanillin or soy lecithin just for the for the flavoring. Yeah.
Right. And so you mentioned that white chocolate often contains vanilla or the artificial vanilla flavoring, but Original Beans doesn't use vanilla in their white chocolate. And so why was that decision made, and so what flavor profile does your white chocolate have?
Original Beans, as the name says, is using original cacao beans, so all cacao varieties, and we are sourcing only in our own projects where we have single bar chocolate. So we wanted to do a single bean chocolates, a single bean white chocolate as well, and as all other products in a pure form. So if you don't use vanilla, you have the purest white chocolate you can have, and you have the pure cacao butter flavor. It's not so much like in the dark chocolate, but it has its own flavor. And we wanted to do a chocolate. Here in the picture, you can see um, from a chocolate maker working with our couverture, doing in the chocolate his own Tahiti vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have your own project with a very good vanilla, you can add your own vanilla because there are so big flavor differences in vanilla, or if you like tonka beans more, you can add this. So that was our idea, that our customers can decide what kind of flavor kick they want to put on or in their white chocolate.
Right. And so white chocolate sometimes doesn't appeal to chocolate lovers because it can be overly sweet without a lot of flavor. So as a chocolate maker, I know you just touched on this a little bit, but how do you add flavor to the white chocolate when there isn't actually any cocoa solid in the chocolate itself, just the
Yeah,
butter?
that's hard because, but we have two things. In our white chocolate, we have 40% of cacao butter. Normally, it's only 25 to 30%. So we have more cacao butter in it. And we have Swiss milk powder. So this organic milk powder has more flavor than, I say, cheap normal milk powder. So you get the taste from the single origin cacao beans and from a really good milk powder into the chocolate and less sugar, so it's not so sweet than others. And then we have, yeah, it's a white chocolate, but I think the best we can do out of it.
Right. And so your bar, the Edelweiss bar, contains cocoa butter, as you mentioned, and it typically comes in either a deodorized or non-deodorized form. So could you just explain the differences between the two types of cocoa butter for the audience and which type Original Beans uses and why?
In our Edelweiss, we use non-deodorized cacao butter, and
Yeah.
that's a process of refining, or yes, the cacao butter. So if you want to sell the cacao butter normally, you deodorize it because you want to standardize it, and at this point you remove the aroma components, and
Hmm.
we want to have these aroma components in our white chocolate. And because of that, we only filter the cacao butter we use, but we don't deodorize it.
Right. So it's sort of a rawer form.
Yes, it's a raw form, and it's even harder to work with it because you need really good beans for such a cacao butter.
Right. Which goes into my next question, which is what are some of the biggest challenges about producing a fine flavor white chocolate?
Yes, often in the market, people think, oh, for white chocolate, you don't need so good beans, but that's wrong because if you do it so pure, you can't change the flavor by putting more or less vanilla. So we need really, really good beans on the same fermentation level for this chocolate. And the other thing is to have this really good cacao butter is really expensive. So a white chocolate has the same price than a dark chocolate producing it, but the customer often is expecting that white chocolate has to be more cheaper, yeah.
Right.
So that's the two big challenges: the price and the quality of the bean.
Right. And I know that sourcing principles and conservation are values that are very important to original beans. And could you tell us a bit about how that fits into producing your white chocolate?
Yes, as I mentioned, our white chocolate as well as all our other products is a single bean or single origin chocolate. So original beans has only we only have our own project. In this case, the beans come from the Dominican Republic and in cooperative with our Swiss partner. So what we have there is one project where we are growing the beans, and normally we have one project where we have the growing part and the conservation part. In this case, it's different. We have the growing part, which are with our main values like agroforestry system, shade-grown cacaos, and smallholder farmers. And then we have the big conservation part in the Congo at the Virunga National Park,
Yeah.
where the last mountain gorillas lives. And so it's because there we have the chance to reforestate, because the project is bigger, the deforested areas are larger. So in Congo, we give them the income from the bars to do the reforestation project, and the beans come from the project in the Dominican Republic.
Wow, so you're making such a great contribution to sustainability.
Yes, that's that's the way Original Beans was created as a conservation brand and not as a chocolate brand.
Right.
Chocolate is only the way to go there because cacao is a shade tree. Cacao is perfect for agroforestry system. Cacao, 99 or 98% of the world crop is done by small farmers, so it's perfect to do
Right.
such projects.
And does Original Beans have any plans to make another type of white chocolate in the future?
Who? In the near future, no. But maybe in the future, because we are all dreaming to do our own cacao butter from the Congo project. So maybe in the future there will be another white chocolate with Congo beans. That maybe, yeah.
Excellent. That would be really exciting. And what should chocolate lovers look for when they're buying a white chocolate?
I think one of the most important points is that it's only cacao butter and not other fats in it, because it's allowed to add tropical fats as palm or shea.
Yeah.
And for me, it's important that there isn't any artificial flavoring in it. If you like vanilla, okay, it's okay, it's your decision. Um, but I think as pure as possible. And yeah, that's it.
Right. Right. Glenn, you've been sitting waiting very patiently, so let's bring you into the conversation. So as a chocolatier, you bring a different perspective because you're working with your white chocolate to create finished products. And I know that you use white chocolate both in your ganache that fills many of your chocolates and as a couverture to create the shell for the outside of your chocolates. So we're going to talk a bit about both. So what do you look for in a white chocolate when you're going to use it for a ganache, and what types of flavors do you typically pair with a white chocolate ganache?
Well, when I'm looking for to make a ganache, I'm really looking at the white chocolate because it's often quite sweet. So it's really looking for the balance. So when I'm using it in combination with a fruit, say something tart like a passion fruit or a black sesame like in the image that Robert's just put up, it's really looking at the balance of where we want to go with the actual chocolate itself. The other thing that we also will look for is, if particularly for a ganache, is maybe we want a punch of color. So like passion fruit or raspberry or mango, we want to make sure that the white chocolate itself is going to hold that color and not fade it out, because we want a real strong color, but we use natural fruit and the way we've reduced ourselves, so we want as much color as we can to give the wow factor when someone bites into the chocolate.
Right.
And then as far as like what types of flavors that we might want to pair with it, I like I've mentioned there, the black sesame, we've used passion fruit, we've used mango, raspberry, we've also used lychee, because also when you're looking at bringing in subtle flavors, the white chocolate often delivers the subtlety of the flavor without overpowering it. So like lychee, for one example, is a good example of that, where it's very subtle.
Right.
Another is jasmine. Bring in jasmine, you get the hint of the jasmine, the fragrance, and it's very light, but it's not overpowered by, say, a cocoa mass if you used a milk or a dark chocolate. So white chocolate delivers it there.
Right. And are there different considerations when you're looking for a white chocolate to use as a couverture? And are there times when you choose white chocolate for a couverture to achieve a decorative effect that you're looking for and then build the flavors inside around it?
Yeah, it's just like when we're looking at the couverture, we're looking for coloring and sweetness balance. Like there in the image that you see on the screen there, that's our matcha chocolate. So we're looking for contrast to color. We're also looking for fluidity, because we mold all of our chocolates here at the shop. So we're looking for that. The other thing that we've also made is, it's sort of like the dulce. It's just like we've actually taken, or I'll bring it up as close to the shot as I can, show and tell here. But it's like we've taken the white chocolate and we've caramelized it with over a long period of time at low heat in the oven to actually caramelize that chocolate. What I found that with the white chocolate I use, it actually delivers a real buttery, almost nutty, almost like a cheesecake crust flavor, which is really quite interesting. To me, it tastes like crust. To other people, it just tastes like caramel. But that adds another flavor complexity that I can put into the balance of creating some new chocolate.
Right. And with white chocolate makers producing a wider variety of different types of white chocolate, there's more for chocolatiers to choose from. So could you tell us about what some of your favorites are and why you've used them?
Yeah, well, the dominant white chocolate that I use is the Belcolot. It's an organic, fair trade, Rainforest Alliance certified chocolate. It's all good. It's very eco-green. So we feel good about that. It also delivers what we want in the chocolate itself. And sort of surprisingly or not, is I've actually had other chocolate suppliers from other brands come in and they're like, oh, you're using that one? Oh, I can't really compete flavor-wise with that. Or, really nice to hear that we've chosen well.
Yeah.
But at the same token, this is like, like Dulce Blonde from Belrona is quite nice, because, I mean, this is going to take me 4 hours or so in the slow bake oven to make in batches, as opposed to just getting it in a bag.
Right.
So it's efficiency perspective, but it may or may not deliver the same sort of flavor component that we're looking for.
Right. So it's probably dependent on what your ultimate end product is that you're making.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then again, what you said about delivering for a decorative effect, is like you're also looking at your white chocolate of how blonde it is. I mean, like if we look at there on the screen, there's a little minion Santa, or here I've got another little Santa. You know, this is like, you don't want Santa to look like he has a dirty hat.
That wouldn't do.
Because it's all gold, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like with light, white chocolate will naturally lighten.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, there we have Cyclops on the screen. Yeah. There's, you know, it's just some fun stuff that we get to play with the white chocolate.
Right. Right. And are there specific challenges about working with white chocolate as opposed to a dark or a milk?
Uh, Personally, I do find that with molding a white chocolate, it's different in how it coats and sets and making the shells.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it it'll like I may have to like triple coat, say, or something like that, or just the timing is completely different from the dark chocolate or milk chocolates that we might use in making shells. We make
Right.
everything here by hand, and we don't do enrobing. But with the white chocolate, you know, it's just a little more time consuming. It's a little bit less forgiving. So we just have to play with it a little bit more. But once it hits a certain temperature point, it like goes there in an accelerated fashion than say darker milk. It just behaves a little bit differently for us.
Right. It melts a little bit more easily, doesn't it?
It melts a whole lot easier. It's like
Yeah.
fast to temper,
Right.
fast to temper, but slow to set.
Right. Right. You can see that would be a delicate balance.
Yes, exactly. It's just a timing question.
Right. And so we've seen your Santa, and so I know you have a talent for making chocolate figures, and that you know, you do use a lot of white chocolate in those. And are there specific pieces where you'd choose a white over a dark or a milk?
Certainly, for when we're making figures, we're choosing different chocolates because of effect.
Yeah.
If for eyeballs, here we have a little baby seal here.
Yeah.
So here it's all in white chocolate, and then we've used the white chocolate blended with a blue cocoa butter to create the eyes, and then a
Mhm.
little dollop of dark chocolate. So there we're using predominantly the white chocolate, but you're looking at it for contrast, and as opposed to looking for a fine chocolate with flavor. So decorative wise, we're just looking for contrast. The white chocolate gives us a wow, it emphasizes color, that sort of thing, which, just like framing art, it does the same effect.
Right. And do you have any new white chocolate bonbons or bar flavors in the works?
Well, we've just recently come out with a new matcha ground toasted black sesame bar, as well as chocolate, and there's the bonbon right there.
Right.
And that's proved to be very popular so far with our customer base. So we generally will have within the shop 2 to 3 white chocolates within our collection in the cabinet that's available for the boxes at any one particular time. This black sesame seems to be hitting broader palate base than just the people who typically would buy a white chocolate.
Right. And do you find that there's specific holidays where you sell more white chocolate or less white chocolate?
Absolutely. It's like if people may or may not be familiar with White Day, which it comes out of Asia, primarily like Thailand, Singapore, parts of Korea and Japan. It's the 30 days after Valentine's Day. The recipient of a Valentine on Valentine's Day gives a white gift. So we sell a lot of white chocolate boxes on that particular day. So that's then the 14th of March, and that's White Day.
Right. Right. Well, I think this has been a great conversation about white chocolate. I'm sure that everyone watching has learned a lot. And as I said, perfect day to celebrate with National White Chocolate Day. So I just want to close with a thank you to Jan Schubert from Original Beans and Glenn Knowles from Gem Chocolates for taking time out of your day to join in on our conversation. And if you know anyone who missed our live broadcast, we will be posting the video on our website, www.ecolechocolat.com, shortly. And we'll also be including a list of fine white chocolate for you to try at the end of the video replay. And of course, the original beans Edelweiss is on that list for sure. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.